content with being contained, and those who will do anything to break free. There are those who meet any obstacle head-on, and those who smash through it. They know if you reach past the edge, you can discover worlds you never knew. They defy expectations in ways never thought possible. There are those who build walls to confine us, and those who tear them down to let everyone come rushing in.
Welcome to day 2 of Xbox Daily, live at E3. I'm Larry here of Xbox Live's Major Nelson, joined again here on stage by Jessica Chobot and Julia Hardy.
Hello everybody, we have a tremendous show for you today. For starters, our own Graham Boyd is getting his hands on some very expensive cars in Forza Horizon 3. Good luck stealing that Lambo off the show floor, Graham.
Plus, we've got new footage from Recore, and we'll seek out ample amounts of pirate booty in Sea of Thieves.
Yep, she just said booty. Then we'll check out the zombie-filled world of State of Decay 2. And we've got a little something for the Witcher 3 fans. Throw in a saddle on Roach, because guess what? We're going to play some Gwent.
And finally, it's the moment all three of us have been waiting for. We're taking a deeper look into the disturbing dystopian world of We Happy Few. Wrap piñatas for everyone. You get a wrap piñata. You get a wrap piñata.
And of course, we want you at home to be part of the show. So grab your Xbox One controller and you can vote in our interactive polls.
All right, time to shift things into high gear. Pun intended. An extremely happy Graham Boyd is down in the Xbox booth with an amazing car and Forza Horizon 3.
Hey everybody, I'm standing here in front of a frankly incredible Lamborghini Centenario with Ralph Fulton, the creative director of Playground Games, to talk about one of my favorite franchises, Forza, and specifically the just announced Forza Horizon 3. Ralph, game looks absolutely incredible. I'm not even joking, I almost cried when you showed that trailer the other day. But let's talk about the big news, right? You're taking the Horizon Festival to Australia. Why did you choose to go down under?
Absolutely, right. So Australia it's this incredible country, right? We all kind of know about it, right? It's vast. We know about the outback. We know it's incredibly beautiful. We know about the beaches. What we really wanted to deliver for our players in this game is diversity, right? We want them to be able to find new, exciting ecotypes, we call them. And Australia has them in bags, right? It's an incredibly diverse country. That's what we found when we really started to research, really started to dig into it. And that's why we've been able to build a world which is twice as diverse as Forza Horizon 2. Like, it has twice as many ecotypes, you know, outback, rainforest, canyons, the wine country of the Yarra Valley, surfer's paradise, so we've got a modern high-rise city in the game for the first time, and of course the beaches of the Gold Coast. It's amazingly diverse, and to fit it all in, our world is twice as big as the one in Forza Horizon 2 as well, right? So that's great as well. There's so much more to explore. We had to build it larger just to fit everything in.
Everything that's amazing about Horizon comes together in Australia. Another thing I love about it is multiplayer and co-op. You showed off 4-player co-op on the stage at the briefing. How are you implementing that in the game, and how important is it for you?
Well, I mean, I'm really excited about this aspect of the game. For me, Horizon is about having fun with your friends, right? You know, that's the essence of it. I think we're delivering on that more than we ever have done before in Forza Horizon 3. And to go right to the top of this, I think it's enabled by Xbox Live, and specifically the cross-play between Xbox One and Windows 10 players, which is happening in Forza for the very first time, right? These two huge communities coming together, and like you say, co-op is a big new feature. It's 4-player campaign co-op, and it just exemplifies that laid-back fun that I was talking about. You know, if you're on Xbox One, you're on Windows 10, it really doesn't matter. If your friends want to play with you, they can. And I think we've really done co-op right. It's easy, you know, not to do it full justice. We didn't want to do that. We've done it right. Everything you can play in the solo game, you can play with your friends in co-op. You can drop in, you can drop out. The game just works around what you want to do, and that's why I think people are going to have so much fun playing that. You know, the depth and the variety of a Horizon campaign with their friends.
Great. One of my favourite things about Horizon is the showcase events. You showed one off the other day. Tell us about some of the new challenges and showcases we'll be able to enjoy in Horizon 3.
Yeah, so showcases are this big signature thing that we've been doing since the first game. And every game we think, okay, how are we going to plus this up? How are we going to make this more spectacular than the last time? And it's getting harder and harder, right? So this time, what we're showing at on the show floor is this incredible race where you're in an off-road racing buggy, a penhaul buggy, and you're racing against a Jeep. But the twist is the Jeep is picked up by this huge dual-rotor helicopter and airlifted to the finish line, where it drops the Jeep right at the last minute, and you're trying to keep up all the way, and you're trying to just pivot to the post at the last minute. So it's the most complicated, most spectacular showcase we've ever done, and that's kind of where the bar is now, right? So we have another bunch of showcases in the game, which I'm not going to tell you about today, right? Because there's an element of surprise there as well. Like, players love to see what it is we're doing. You know, but that's where the bar is, and we have to make sure there's as spectacular as the one we're showing on the show floor.
Nice one. Now, I've got a concern that we're both being upstaged by this absolute beast behind us. So why don't we take a little closer look at the cover car of Forza Horizon 3, the Lamborghini Centenario.
When we heard about the Centenario, the 100-year anniversary, we were so excited about this car and thought no better car could be on the cover of Forza Horizon 3 than this one.
The idea was to do something really special. Not only this, but be also a showcase of engineering technology.
It's incredible to walk around it and see how the air flows and what they've thought about the exhaust and how that creates downforce behind the wing. And that just fits so well in the Horizon world. There are incredible pieces of technology all throughout this car, and players are going to be able to experience it on the road, but also crawl around the car in Forza Vista and really see how everything moves and works.
Centenario, unfortunately, will be dedicated only to 40 lucky customers, but all the customers of the Forza can really enjoy every detail of the car, every dynamic behavior of this amazing car, and to perceive something that is really unique.
Forza Horizon is known for open world exploration. And what better to explore the world in than a hypercar? We've got a new breed of hypercars hitting the world, and seeing Lamborghini take the charge with new technology and an amazing design is so cool, and being able to give that to our players on the cover of Forza Horizon 3 and in the game is just a privilege.
What an absolute beauty. Ralph, tell us more about this partnership you have with Lamborghini.
Yeah, so we have a great relationship with our friends at Lamborghini. Our friends at Lamborghini is an incredible thing to say, right? Those are words I never thought I'd actually say.
Does that mean you get mates rates? Because I think that's the important thing here.
They're very good to us, yeah. But yeah, so obviously we had the Lamborghini Huracan as the cover car of the last Horizon. This time the Centenario was coming up, and they told us about it. So they unveiled it at Geneva in March, but we knew about it well before that. And you know, we're able to show us the plans, we're able to show it as they were starting to build it, so we could start researching it and building it ourselves, because it takes an enormously long time for a car like this to get into Forza. We build it to such exacting specs. Anyway, we got it into the game. They gave us all that access, and I think it's wonderful, right? It's one of the most striking cars you will ever see. It's definitely the hottest supercar of this year, and therefore I think it's a really fitting cover star for our game.
Yeah. But it's not just about supercars, right? You're really introducing some really rugged off-roaders with Horizon 3 as well.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a really wide car list. I mean, first of all, it's much bigger than the last games. We're at more than 350 amazing cars, which is 150 more than Horizon 2 shipped with. So right there, you've got a whole ton of cars, which has allowed us to stretch our legs in different directions, right? So Australia is incredibly rugged. It's incredibly varied terrain, as I've been saying. We've got the vehicles to deal with that terrain, you know, so we're doing a great deal of off-roading. You know, we've got the penhaul buggy, we've got some trophy trucks in there. We have barn finds as well. We have more barn finds than we've ever had before, so there's going to be a lot of excitement finding out those cars. Because we're in Australia, we're also doing our best to represent Australian car culture as well, which is incredibly vibrant, incredibly thriving. Going back to the oldest Holden Ute, we've got the 74 Sandman, which is an amazing car, like really characterful car. So yeah, great variety, like you'd expect from a Horizon game, but more variety than ever before.
Quick last question. You're now in charge of the Forza Horizon Festival. What does that mean?
Right, yeah, we wanted to make you the boss. Last couple of games, you've been a rookie, you start at the bottom, you work your way up. This time, we are putting you in charge. You're the boss, you're charged with setting it up in Australia for the very first time. And that comes with a bunch of decision-making power, right? You can make the decisions about when to expand your festival, when to build a new festival, and where around Australia. And it's just kind of a fantasy fulfillment. It's like being in charge, being the boss, making the decisions. It's a cool new way to think about progression and structure in a game. I think players are going to really enjoy it.
Love that. Thank you, Ralph. And of course, you can expect an absolutely incredible soundtrack in Forza Horizon 3 Churches. One of my favourite bands are on there, so that's good news. It is out on Xbox One and Windows 10 PC on September 27th, and you can pre-order it right now. All right, let's send back things back up to the Xbox deck, where Jessica and Larry have a little something for all you Witcher 3 fans out there.
The Witcher 3 was one of 2015's most acclaimed games, and now its almost supernatural popularity has spawned an unexpected spin-off.
Here to give us a better look at the game within a game that is Gwent is Jason Slama, the lead programmer for CD Projekt Red.
Hi, guys.
Tell us about first of all, I want to thank you for Gwent. You and the team at CD Projekt Red. I mean, the massive team, but you had the small team that worked on the game. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for that. I mean, it means a lot. We worked so hard to get it to where it is today.
Why did you decide to take this game that you worked on, Gwent, and make it a standalone?
Well, for one, we got a lot of fan feedback, but that wasn't enough. On top of our fans really wanting it, we just felt like we had something really unique and an opportunity to make something we could be truly passionate and proud about. And that has a lot to do with the way Gwent works as a whole. And we're hoping our fans will get to see that sooner rather than later, and share our vision for what Gwent can be.
Yeah.
I believe we're going to have some sort of demo or something we can show you guys.
Yeah,
Maybe I can explain it a bit more. And
yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk about the mechanics of the game, and we can roll it all up on screen. Leaders and faction abilities. So tell me a little bit about those.
So that's one of the first things. Every faction has its own leader card that you get to choose. There's multiple to choose from, but they give that one guaranteed card that lets you have one super special ability.
Sure.
So, like, your deck will get decided a lot by what leader card you choose. And then on top of that, every faction has their own little flavor, their own little twist that makes them play differently. For example, Skellige over here resurrects one card to your hand at the beginning of the third round, so it's a faction that really wants to get to the third round. So that's us kind of playing with the best 2 out of 3 mechanic. Other factions might want to win faster. Skellige's in it for the long run.
Now, bluffing and deception is part of any good card game.
Absolutely.
Tell me how that works with Gwent.
So, because you have a limited resources, only 10 cards to start with, and you have to use those same 10 cards for all 3 rounds, if you go all in the first one, you have nothing to win the subsequent 2 rounds. So there's many situations where you just want to play a card to force the other player to keep playing.
Sure.
So the other aspect of that is each player has to keep playing a card, one after the other. When I pass, you get to play as much as you want. So there's always that, do I spend that one more card? Maybe he thinks I'm going to stay in this round, but in my mind, I've already given up. I don't care about this round. I've lost it. But I keep playing, hoping to get him to commit heavier in that first round, so I have an easier win in the subsequent ones.
So it's a bit of your strategy card and how you play that out.
That's just one of the many strategies you'll learn to develop in a game like Gwent.
Awesome. So let's move into spy mechanic. Tell me a little bit about what that is.
So spy mechanics are a really interesting ability where you're giving your opponent points instead of just putting your own soldiers on there, but in exchange you get to draw a card. Now in the Witcher 3 version, we found them to be quite strong. They would draw 2 cards and players would draw their whole decks, but in our case we're trying a whole bunch of new things while still keeping that fun ratio of you give something and I get something back. I think one of my favorite spies is When you play him, you get 2 cards, but you only get to keep 1, and you don't know what the other one is. Right?
Tricky.
So you're like, oh, wait, well, this is good, but what about...
Could it be better or not?
And then no matter whether you choose it or not, we just reveal it to you.
Of course.
Just, right?
Oh, just to
like,
troll us.
Just to
That's
troll
so
you. I gotta tell you,
rude.
it's happened. I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, I'll go, God, no, why didn't I choose the hidden one?
That's super mean.
Tell us about decoys.
So decoys are a really powerful part of the game for 2 reasons. One, they allow you to play the same card over and over again. So if the card has a nice ability on it, resurrect, you can play it, decoy it back to your hand and play it again, right? Which is pretty nice. But another really fun thing about decoys is, like I said, each player keeps having to play. So every time you decoy, you get another card in your hand, and you end up with more cards in your hand than your opponent. So they're kind of a way of stalling.
Okay.
Interesting.
Right? So,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
continue,
interrupt.
that's it.
Oh, okay, so break down nurses for me.
Nurses let you choose a non-hero card from your graveyard and lets you put it back onto the board. So it's another way of keep playing.
So you really took what we saw in The Witcher 3 and you really built upon the core gameplay and really made it robust.
Absolutely. So we made sure to keep the soul that our fans loved and that we thought was great, but we wanted to add more. We wanted it to be like explosion-filled movie, just
but now, I want to be clear. There's multiplayer. You've got a single-player campaign.
Multiplayer, a single-player campaign. I think fans are going to love it.
Play.
Absolutely, cross-platform play. I can't wait. We've been playing at the office, Xbox versus PC. It's so much fun. I can't wait to see our fans try.
Now, how do folks get in on this maybe a little bit early and check your beta out?
So, if people are really interested, and I hope they are, they can go to playgwent.com and check it out, sign it up, and when we start opening the floodgates in September, maybe you'll get chosen and get to play.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks to Jason. Guys, make sure and go to playgwent.com to sign up for the Gwent beta, which launches this September.
Now, you may have noticed that this year Xbox is making a big splash into Windows 10. I'll let Bravo explain.
Thanks, Larry. I'm here on the floor with Frank Soki, the GM of Gaming at Intel. Frank, we saw some awesome Xbox games at the briefing that are also coming to Windows 10.
Yeah, the briefing was amazing, right? So on top of Windows 10, you have DX12, which is able to expose all the value of CPU cores as well as graphics cores. And you think about the game titles that they're releasing, Gears of War, Forza, Ashes of the Singularity, which we're showing back here. I mean, it's pretty amazing that these games are also being brought to PC. And of course, Intel's got amazing hardware to expose all the value here. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. I know there's a lot of players who are really excited to not only play their games on Xbox, but also try them for free on Windows 10 as well. But you and the Intel team, of course, are working on some pretty incredible hardware. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy hardware. So we call it Extreme Edition processor. The codename was Broadwell E. We just launched that at Computex, and the thing that's amazing about that is, this has got 10 cores and 20 threads. This is the first time we've ever had a consumer processor with this many cores and threads, and that's not all. It's more than just the CPU, it's also what we build around the CPU. We have Smart Cache, 25 mega Smart Cache, crazy awesome. We have DDR4 memory at 2400 speed. We have a new feature called Turbo Boost Max 3.0 technology, which finds the fastest core and can run your application on the fastest core. So it's not just tons of cores, but we give you tons of frequency as well.
Yeah, I know both Xbox and Windows 10 fans are excited to play all their games coming not only this year as well as beyond. It's going to be pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Like I said, if you get a chance to play Ashes, it is so smooth in the gameplay on something like a Broadwell E. You're going to be totally amazed by it. You'll never go back to old school again. Got to have this.
That's right, Frank. Thank you so much for your time today. Now we'll go over to Jessica, who's talking about State of Decay.
Thanks, Bravo. Now, guys, the zombie survival fantasy State of Decay made a huge splash with its simulated world and sandbox approach to the survival genre. And now the fan favorite is back with State of Decay 2. Joining me to talk about the game is Jeff Strain, the founder of Undead Labs. So, Jeff, you just announced that the game exists, and obviously fans are super passionate about the original. So how have you incorporated that fan feedback into the sequel?
Well, we actually, when we started development on State of Decay 2, we were considering a couple of different directions. One of them was kind of along the line of one of our original plans, which was to make it a more of an MMO experience, server-hosted world with hundreds of players. But what we really figured out was that that's not what our players were asking for. Right? They were loving the game we built, and that game we built at that time was single player. And what they were asking for was 4-player co-op. And we heard this over and over and over again. And so at one point we just kind of put our heads up and said, we should really listen to our passionate players and make the game that they want.
Never a bad idea.
And lo and behold, it doesn't hurt at all.
Awesome. So you guys actually shared some exclusive concept art with us. Let's talk us through a little bit about what's new in the game.
Well, what we wanted to do with the game is take what worked and just make it bigger, badder, bolder, and more polished. And so the theme of State of Decay was Faded Americana was kind of the way we described it. It's a game about people living in America, real people, not heroes. You're not city dwellers, right? These are the people who live all over, in particular in America, who, if something like this happened, would be at the forefront of trying to survive. And we wanted people to be able to easily put themselves in that situation. So we're still going with that theme. And the game will mostly take place in more rural environments, smaller towns. You're not going to be in big metropolises, but we're taking what we started there and just expanding it. The world is larger, more ambitious.
All right, so what else are you guys showing here at E3?
Well, we've got our trailer, which I hope everybody's seen at this point. And I can confirm that the game is running on Unreal Engine 4. So all the concept pieces that we built will get a lot closer to actually making the world look like we envision. And I invite everybody to come check it out at stateofdecay.com.
And so when can we actually get our hands on the game?
2017.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jeff. State of Decay 2 will be available on Play Anywhere for Xbox and Windows 10 in 2017. Let's send things back over to Graham.
Thank you, Jess. I am here with Dave McCarthy, Head of Xbox Operations, and Katie Jo Wright, the Gaming for Everyone lead, to talk about making gaming more welcoming for all players. Dave and Katie Jo, welcome.
Thank you.
Dave, when I say gaming for everyone, let's talk about what that really means to Xbox and to gaming in general.
Yeah, well, gaming for everyone, we like to think of it as a movement in Team Xbox. And it's our attempt to be very deliberate about making Xbox a place where everyone can have fun. And by everyone, I mean members of Team Xbox internally, our partners, but also our customers and fans, and making sure they feel Xbox is a place that's safe and welcoming and fun for them to be on. And what that involves is us taking a real end-to-end look at everything we do in Xbox. You know, our products, the way we make them, the way we test them, the decisions we make, ensuring ideas bubble up in the organization overall, even the way that we market them and support them over time. Our service, making sure that that's a very welcoming place, and the feature decisions we make there, naturally bring everybody in. We're so serious about the movement, we've actually made it somebody's full-time job, and that's what Katie Jo does. She actually gets to do it day in and day out. I think it's the coolest job in the world, and I'm really excited to have her here with me at E3 to talk about it.
Fantastic. Katie Jo is the head of the movement.
That's right.
I love this. All right, Katie Jo, so you're responsible for building features like clubs directly into Xbox Live. Can you tell us about how you're doing that and what kind of impact it's going to have on making a more inclusive experience for gamers?
Yeah, sure. So like what Dave was saying, the core of gaming for everyone is really about making Xbox a place where everyone can have fun. And fun means different things to different people. And so we really want to, the way that we can bring that to life and really enable that is by creating choice and customization in your overall gaming experience. And so some of the ways that we've been talking about it this week is like with clubs and LFG, which is really about creating that welcoming and safe place online where you can choose who you play with, how you play, and even what games we play. And then you can extend that choice we've been thinking about extending that choice through different content principles. And so when we look at our own first-party titles, like Sea of Thieves, which has been getting a lot of buzz this week, where you get to choose the pirate or be the pirate that you want to be. Like, how cool is that? Where you get to there's hundreds of ways where you can customize your own character. And so really bringing that through. And then we also, that choice also extends all the way to the hardware, like with the Xbox Design Lab that we also announced this week, where you get to design your own controller. And so it can really reflect your own personal style as a gamer, which is really exciting. And so these are three things that we've been talking about this week. Our journey is really just beginning.
Excellent. What I love about this is that there's something for every type of gamer here, right? You can be the most casual gamer, the most hardcore gamer. You're getting benefits here. Where do you see it all going next?
Well, I think it's important to realize we're on a journey with this stuff. As an industry, we have a ways to go in ensuring that everyone feels safe and respected and welcome. I want Xbox to try and take a lead with that. I believe solidly in gaming for everyone and the principles behind it. And we're listening, right? We're listening to our Team Xbox members and taking in the feedback as to what would, really make Xbox a more welcoming place for individuals. But we want to hear from our customers and fans as well. I'm hoping people hear this and they go to a site like User Feedback and they give us their ideas on what would make for a great gaming for everyone experience.
Great. Katie Jo?
Absolutely. This is a movement, and we are just getting started. And so part of gaming for everyone being successful is everyone contributing and being a part of it. That's internally within Xbox, but also all of our gamers and fans out there. So we want everyone to come along.
Lovely. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Katie Jo. Everyone at home, there is your invitation. Be part of gaming for everyone. Now, a ton of news broke at Monday's Xbox briefing, so we caught up with some of the biggest gamers around, like Green Skull, Laurie Pops, Mr. Dalek JD, and Natalie Casanova, to find out what their favourite moments were. Let's have a look.
My favourite moment was Dead Rising 4. Just seeing that unveiled, it's something that I've wanted to see for a long time now. I absolutely loved the first Dead Rising and zombies in general, so that was really, really cool.
I think it was probably the cross-platforming. I've been looking out for that for quite a long time, so I can play with all my friends on PC.
Favorite moment was probably the trailer for Halo Wars 2.
Dead Rising 4. You know, I can't wait to play that game in co-op. So favorite moment from the briefing was definitely the Gears of War reveal. I've been a Gears fan for a long, long time, and just seeing everything return, just seeing all the gameplay for the first time of the new one was just absolutely amazing.
As soon as it came on, I just screamed and everyone looked around and like, wow. But I just get so exhilarated by the story and the badassery and the gore. I love the action.
Scalebound was a big one. I'm really excited to do some co-op in that. That was a big thing for me. I just love playing with friends. Sea of Thieves, it was really cool seeing people actually playing it and their real, genuine reactions and just, laughing and trying to bail out the ship. And I thought it was absolutely hilarious and just really sold me on the game.
I think my favorite moment has to be when the Xbox One S was revealed, like 40% smaller. There's also like a really nice Easter egg on the back that made in Seattle, and like pushing power buttons and eject buttons which still keep the noises. Like that was just an awesome moment in the briefing.
And I'm also really excited about the custom controllers. When they came up on screen, I was just like, yes, I need to make one of these. I need my gamer tag on there. It looks so cool.
I think it was the Dead Rising 4 reveal. I mean, the trailer was great, but also when the snow started coming down from the roof of the building and the Jingle Bells frog was playing. I'm a huge Dead Rising fan anyway, so just to get to see the game was great, but the way it was presented was awesome as well.
I've got to say, I'm a massive car nerd, so seeing Forza Horizon 3 for the first time, and I think it was everyone's favourite part of the Forza Horizon 3 presentation was when the guy driving the buggy popped a little barrel roll. It's just a real awesome moment.
Honestly, one of my favourite moments from the briefing was the fact that hearing that now we can purchase games on Xbox and then also play it on Windows 10. Because so often I buy games on multiple platforms to play with everybody, and now that I'm not going to have to do that anymore and it'll save my progress, that was really good.
My favourite moment was when the 6 teraflops popped up on the screen and they were talking about Project Scorpio. It's just such an epic thing, knowing that there's going to be a new piece of kit that's super powerful up on there, kind of rivaling the power of level of PCs that we have currently at the moment. I know it's coming out next year, but that is going to be such a cool thing when it actually drops.
I mean, that is just the next generation of gaming, but in the right way. It kind of respects the existing audience. They don't necessarily have to upgrade if they don't want to, but for people that really want to go to that next step, then yeah, it's incredible.
The technology is unreal, the future's there, and Xbox is bringing it, so it's good to see.
You can't label me a downer because ever since I saw it at last year's Gamescom, I've been dying to know a little bit more about We Happy Few. And now there's finally gameplay. Joining me on stage here to talk about it is creative director Guillaume Provost. Guillaume, welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. So let's talk about the game and what we showed at the briefing and just about the game in general.
Of course. Well, the game takes place in the 1960s. It's an alternate history universe.
Right.
It's a bit dark, it's a bit dystopian. We created a world where basically everyone is using these pills called joy to stay artificially happy in the world and to forget the past that they have.
Now you can see we're actually playing this right here. This is this is not a video. This is actual gameplay we're seeing, which is what we're playing here on the show floor at E3, correct?
That's exactly it. We're seeing the build that is live on Xbox on the game floor at E3.
Now talk about denial and social conformity. What are those and how do they come into play within the game?
Right, well, it was a big component of the game that that we wanted to create a society that was, really trying to forget their past and was really in denial about the conditions that they're living in. And it's one of the big themes that's underlying the entire game that we've created. So, they're wearing masks, for example, that are depicting them as being happy and smiling all the time, no matter how they're really feeling underneath the surface.
Now, one of the things about this game, it is using a procedural generated world. Now, for those at home that don't know what that is, explain it to the non-nerds of the world.
Yeah, of course. Well, really, we have narrative sections that really deepen, the structure of the story in the world.
Right.
But the main stay of the actual world that we're playing in We Happy Few is going to be different in terms of its layout, in terms of the moments and the features and the buildings that you'll encounter is actually different every time that you play. And we really wanted to create an experience that allowed players to discover the lore and history of the world piecemeal by actually replaying it through subsequent lives.
Now, the community had a lot to do with that, right?
Absolutely.
And tell me how they got involved.
Well, it's been a year now, actually. A year ago at E3, we were in the middle of our Kickstarter campaign. We had a really successful Kickstarter campaign with the community. They've been huge supporters of the game. We've updated them with monthly builds on a closed beta for over a year now, and we're really excited to bring it to a wider community this summer.
Now, that's what people are asking right now, because I can see my Twitter stream lighting up out of the corner of my eye. How do people get early access to the game?
You can. It was a real benefit to the early Kickstarter backers to get early access to the game until July 26th, which is when we are coming out on Games Preview for the first time on Xbox, and a Windows 10 SKU will follow shortly after that.
Now, we're actually playing the demo on screen, so what do we see here? Let's kind of walk it through while we
are
speak demo.
seeing Arthur walking in his actual office right now, and he's coming off the joy at this stage, and he's starting to see reality for how it really is. So to come back to the aspect of denial, which is the strong theme element of the game, it's really the idea that these people are living in a life that's an artificial depiction of what's really going on.
So I can see this is the infamous pinata sequence where things go, they go a little bit dark, Guillaume, I must be honest with you.
Yeah, well, we wanted to really drive the point home. I mean, the idea of having a birthday party where we have a pinata that has lots of candy in it, and then realizing that actually underneath the hood, there's a very different reality that's awaiting the player once they see reality for what it really is and stop using joy.
Do we see this a lot within the game where when we're interacting with something, maybe it's not really what we seem?
There's a couple of instances where that happens in the game, yes. It's a preponderant theme within the game to understand exactly people's motivations and people's thinking is actually different than what they're actually influencing. You can also experience joy in the game and see differences both visual and in terms of gameplay.
Yeah.
But that comes with some consequences.
And what are some of the basic mechanics we can expect with the game?
Well, we have a number of different mechanics. We've actually completed
that little section.
That little section here. We have a number of different mechanics in the game that we tried to push forward to make it a different experience. One of them is social conformity. So it's the idea that as you progress from different areas within the world, there are different behaviors and different rules that you need to follow in order not to stand out from the crowd.
How has the reception been at E3? I mean, I was in the room when you showed it at the Xbox briefing. It's pretty electric in the room. How's it been online?
Well, I've got to say first that being on stage was, for me, the moment of my career. I don't think I've ever dreamt of anything, like being on stage at E3. In the room, it's been great. We've had press and fans come over and play the game over and over and over again. And the biggest testament to me is people who are willing to wait in line for, unfortunately, a long time sometimes, and they're not angry with me once they get to try the game. That's a testament to knowing that we're doing something right.
Well, that's good for you. Well, anyway, thank you very much. Good to see you again, Guillaume. And now, one of the most buzzed about announcements at the Xbox briefing wasn't about a game or a console. It was the ability to create your own signature controller with Xbox Design Lab. Here's a refresher.
So Xbox Design Lab is a customization program on Xbox.com that lets you create a personalized controller that we will hand make and ship to your door.
So you get top and side cases, back case and battery door, triggers, bumpers, D-pad, thumbsticks, ABXY buttons. We've pretty much made everything available to be customized.
We wanted to come up with a program that lets people celebrate more of their personality, more of their sense of style through a controller design that's completely and uniquely their own.
We designed it to be a really simple, intuitive process, so pretty much anybody can have a really good time using it. So you just click on a controller and it comes up basically in a front view, and you're just kind of able to go and select your parts and pick your colors. At any point in the customization process, you can rotate the controller in 3D space, which is really cool because you can check your controller out from any angle, make sure that it looks great, and it's really smooth and natural, so we're pretty excited about that part of the experience. There's a place for engraving at the bottom of the controller, and it's a line of text, and it's like the icing on the cake because you take something that's one of a kind and then you make it just that much more personal with a message.
When I first had the opportunity to make this controller, I wanted one that was different from any controller that I already have. Weapon of choice.
The first one that I did for my son. He loves yellow. I made him a yellow controller, so I can't wait to give it to him. I think it's just going to be like really special.
Beyond just picking the colors on the site, you can also share your designs with your friends through your Xbox feed or Facebook or email.
We know that the Xbox fans have a lot of different stories to tell, and everybody kind of has diverse tastes.
Starting this fall, we'll be shipping to the US, Canada, and Puerto Rico. We plan to expand even more countries next year.
All it takes is a click of a button. You just hit order, and it's going to show up at your door.
It's the same new Xbox wireless controller that we announced at E3. Like any controller, it'll work seamlessly on Xbox One consoles and Windows 10 devices.
We've got a great palette to start with, and I'm sure we'll be rolling out things as time goes on.
All right, here to tell us more about Xbox Design Lab is Aaron Greenberg, head of Xbox Games Marketing. Aaron, great to see you.
It's great to see you, Larry. We are so excited to be able to share Xbox Design Labs. We have people here lined up at the booth to create and personalize their own Xbox wireless controllers. Also, Xbox.com/Xbox Design Lab is already flooded with fans choosing controllers based on their favorite school, their favorite game, whatever they wanted it to be. And in fact, I heard you designed one.
I absolutely did. In fact, it's beautiful. I went to Syracuse University in upstate New York, and I designed a beautiful orange and blue one. And I understand you may have it with you. Is that true?
I brought a little surprise. This is your...
Oh, look at that. Now, can we get a close-up of that? Because you can actually see I've customized it. You can customize your controllers. Anybody can do this.
You can change the color of the buttons, the D-pad, the triggers. You can, all the different colors here you can personalize, and you can even laser your own name or gamer tag right in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's really extraordinary. And this is, I didn't get anything special. This is just using the tools that people have today.
Every controller's made to order, and we ship them directly to your house.
Now, this is beautiful. We're down here, actually. We've created a mini design lab inside the Xbox booth. I mean, look, these are some of the samples back here. And this is going to blow your mind. Aaron, how many different color combinations are there?
Actually, if you add up all the buttons, the triggers, all the different options, 8 million different choices you have to create your own Xbox One wireless controller.
That is unbelievable. Where do they go?
They go to Xbox.com/Xbox Design Lab. You can start designing now. You can save your design. There's inspirations there, or you can go ahead and place your order, and we'll have it ready for you by September.
All right, there you go. Thanks, Aaron. You can also visit Xbox Design Labs at controllers.xbox.com, an easy-to-remember URL. And now I think the show needs some dinosaurs. Let's throw things over to Bravo.
Thanks, Larry. It's time to talk Ark Survival Evolved. I'm here with Jesse Rapsack, co-founder and co-creative director of Studio Wildcard. Now, Jesse, Ark has been incredibly successful on Xbox One, and you guys have more to share here as well.
That's right. We're over 1.2 million units now on Xbox, over 5 million units overall, and we've got some big announcements this time at E3. We announced with Microsoft yesterday that we're coming to Xbox Play Anywhere, Windows 10 and Xbox. If you buy it once on Xbox, you can play it on any platform. And this is really cool because it gives players something they've really been wanting. One is cross-play with some of their PC friends on the Windows 10 store. But the other thing is you'll be able to host Xbox dedicated servers with the Windows 10 version of the game so that you can have your Xbox friends, up to 70 players, joining, configuring it just like the PC players have been doing since the launch of Ark, and creating your own tweaks to the servers, multipliers for things, all sorts of customization. It's going to be really awesome, and that's going to launch later this year.
I know people are really excited about that. Next up, I want to talk about the new Primal Survival game mode. Tell us a little bit about how that works.
We're so excited about this. It's one of our partner teams, Instinct Games. They've been working with us since the beginning. They've been working on this new game mode called Primal Survival. It started as a joke in April Fool's. We called it Survival Devolved, where you could play as a raptor. But people were like, oh my God, I want that mode. And so what we did is we decided, well, let's make it so you can play any creature on the island. Everyone's got their own view. It's very unique gameplay. You start raising your baby creatures from children, adding more to your pack, and we have a mate button now. So as creatures, when you find other species you like, you can mate with them, create new babies, and kind of raise them up and build up your pack. So
yeah, also we got a new biome on the way too. I want to talk about that players can play in.
Yes, the redwood biomes are coming very soon. We're going to get those launched later this month on PC and then in the following month on Xbox. This is a whole new area. You can build in trees, forts. It gives players a whole new verticality to their gameplay. There's unique resources in there, and it just looks great. It's gorgeous. It's one of the coolest places now on the island to play in.
You also have the biggest creature, I believe, coming to the game as well. I've seen people pretty excited about this. That's the Titanosaur.
Oh yeah, this guy is huge. There's only a few of them per island. Only 1 or 2 tribes can have these guys. You can't take them out with narcotics. You have to KO them with larger weaponry. But when you've got one, they are huge. You can build a base on their back that's gigantic, and they can stomp out complete structures and smaller dinosaurs with their stomp attack. It's insane.
Last thing I want to talk about before we go is the Primitive Plus mod. This is a really cool story behind how this kind of came together.
That's right. Modding has been a key part of Ark's DNA since the beginning. We've run a lot of mod contests, and the winner of our first mod contest was a mod called Primitive Plus. Allows you to live off the land, replace a lot of the high technology with more primitive types of apparatuses and structures. This is by a guy named Cedric, who was part of the mod community. We hired him in-house, and we've been working on bringing it to Xbox. So it's going to be coming to Xbox and PC at the end of July as an official mod on our official servers, so all players can take part in this new mod.
Awesome, Jesse. I want to thank you so much for your time today. I can't wait to get my hands on all the new stuff in Ark Survival Evolved. Now, let's turn things over to Julia in the booth.
Mojang, the creators of Minecraft, haven't just built a worldwide phenomenon, but they're also trying to make the world a better place. Let's take a look.
Everyone really needs to have a voice to decide on what's going to happen to an area that they're living and using more than anyone else.
Even the little kids like me could help out with, make the city a better place.
To be able to help the city while just playing.
We decided and we made a change.
They're building their spaces, they're investing in their communities, and it's really powerful.
Minecraft lowers the barrier so that anyone could actually have a say in their public space.
This is not just a game, right? This is something bigger.
You know, what we do is that we actually give youth a language.
Most of the youngsters here in Kenya, really, they don't have the place to expose what they are thinking.
A language which they understand better than the local authority.
And that becomes really powerful for them to actually have a seat at the table and have a voice with local leadership.
Ideally, when you're creating something, you want the people who are going to use it most to be involved in the process.
Something that I worked on is being made in real life.
Ultimately, public space is for the people.
Hey friends, I made this.
It all starts here.
The people who know the best what a certain part of the city needs are the ones who actually live there. I think the city should belong to the people, not one person.
Joining me now to talk about the new Block by Block initiative is Vu Bui, the COO of Mojang. So first of all, let's just clear up. It's Mojang, not Mojang. Everyone says Mojang. Yeah, okay, so just so you know. So, I mean, for the guys who are out there who still kind of wrap their head around what Block by Block is, can you sort of just roughly explain its premise?
Yeah, I mean, Block by Block, there's really two aspects to it. And the first is a partnership between Mojang and UN Habitat. Using Minecraft, the video game, as a participatory tool to allow people to have a say in the redesign of their public spaces.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a mouthful, I know.
I just meant the actual thing, not what you were saying, so they can actually be involved in helping to recreate physical, real-world things.
Yes, it's amazing. Minecraft works really well as a visualization tool. So you're able to walk through the world as though you were a human being walking through a world. So using Minecraft to design something that is in real space works very well, where people are able to understand it, they're able to visualize it. You could walk to a window and see what would it look like out this window. And that makes it a better way to design with people who don't know how to use a design program.
Absolutely. And of course, you know, Minecraft is hugely collaborative as well. It really aids itself to that. So everyone, I guess, can then have a very vested interest in their own public spaces because everyone can be involved, right?
Exactly. So what we do is we put together these workshops. Actually, UN Habitat run workshops around the world. We've done over 18 projects now.
Okay.
And invite the community to be part of the design process. So we have these master Minecraft builders build models of what exists right now, and we invite a very diverse group of people to come. We involve youth, lots of women, older people, basically anyone who has a passion for the space around them and their local area. And they are able to come in, they learn Minecraft very quickly, and they're able to...
It's got quite a low entry point.
It really does.
Really
it really does. Watching like 60-year-old fishermen come in and be able to redesign the dock space in Minecraft is truly amazing.
Wow, guys, like honestly, it's really lovely to have you here. I mean, Minecraft has done so much for gaming as a whole. I mean, I could go on about it forever. Thank you so much, Vu. And now it's time for a little bit of piracy. Can't believe I'm saying that here. Let's take a look.
Earlier this year, we ran a competition to find the most excited Sea of Thieves fans from around the world. The lucky winners joined us here at Rare to be the first people in the world to play Sea of Thieves. Here's what they thought of their first adventure.
This trip at Rare has made me believe in this company that I've loved for so many years, more than I ever have before.
It's everything I thought it could be and more. I went into this thinking, you know, absolutely losing it. And then actually coming down here and experiencing it firsthand has been just like a joyride.
To be the first to play Sea of Thieves is just an experience that, you know, I'll never forget.
My favorite part of it all was just how well everyone was able to immediately start working together as a team and coordinating who was doing what.
Especially the last time I played, I just really getting in a groove with my crew, just feeling like I was part of something.
We started bringing up the anchor, and it was going really slowly. Then we all pooled together, figured out we could do it quicker.
It was so great to have all of that at our fingertips, and it was completely intuitive. Within a few minutes, really, we picked it up and we were off to the seas. I couldn't really decide whether I wanted to explore more or just fire on the other ships and try and sink someone in a violent outburst. But both of those things were completely fulfilling.
I started to lose it a little bit when I was meeting Robin and getting to see and sing. Got to sing with Robin. I did not expect that at all. The rest of my life has been spoiled now. Like there will be nothing to peak this, but yeah, no, really special.
You know, coming here has been like a kind of a bucket list item. You know, you guys outreached to me and said, hey, come on down. It's like, again, I can't even put it into words. It's just niceness beyond niceness beyond niceness. And I'm Canadian, so I mean, that's a compliment, you know.
Sea of Thieves is going to be awesome, and I'm really, really excited for everyone else to get to see this. Like, I want to tell all my friends, you guys got to get this right now, because we're gonna have a blast playing this, because I never laughed so much playing a game like this. Yeah, it was a blast.
Yar, you ready to polish your cutlass, glug your grog, and grab your booty? I hope so, because Joe Neat, the executive producer of Sea of Thieves, is here with us. First question, Joe, why haven't you pirated up your job title?
I haven't pirated up my job title, but I do have a pirate name. So,
okay.
Yeah, so 3 sheets neat.
3 sheets neat. 3 sheets to the wind. That's really good. I like that.
Is, yeah.
All right, Joe, tell us in the simplest terms that any old landlubber could understand, what is Sea of Thieves?
It's so Sea of Thieves is a shared world adventure game where every sail on the horizon is another player, and you're not really sure what their intentions are. So those kind of magical moments in a kind of pirate movie or a naval movie when the guy's up in the crow's nest looking through the telescope and you see that ship on the horizon, you're always like, who is that? Are they coming towards us? Are they a threat? Are they not? And like, that's the magic of our game.
You've talked about that sort of shared experience a lot and this multiplayer experience. What do you think is going to happen in the Sea of Thieves community? What kind of things do you expect to happen?
Well, I think the beauty is that I expect unexpected things to happen, and that's why we're really looking forward to getting it into players' hands early. Like, we know that there are going to be players with all sorts of different motivations, right? So players who just want to go out there and they just want to pillage, they just want to fight other players, right? That's a lot of fun, but some players just want to explore in the game and go through that vast world, exploring islands, diving down under the water into sunken shipwrecks in search of loot. Or there are players who maybe just want to get on a ship, fill it full of booze, fill it full of musical instruments, and just go out on the sea and be on the party ship, basically, just like having fun in our world, right? And I think the beauty is, though, that that's open to anybody. You can all do that, right?
Fantastic. Now, but it's not just like a co-op experience or a multiplayer experience, right? You can go out and be a solo privateer and still enjoy the game, right?
You totally can, and like it's the key thing about it. It's always a shared world, right? So if you do that, you're probably going to be a little bit more vulnerable than maybe like a bigger ship. But if you're in a smaller ship, you'll definitely be more maneuverable. You know, you can maybe kind of run rings around a bigger ship, maybe even if you team up with another small ship. And also, you could take a bigger ship out on your own, right? That's completely possible. Right. But you're going to be running around between all the different roles that you have to fulfill on the ship, and if you come up against a skilled crew, then it's probably only going to end one way, right? But the beauty is, again, it's player choice, and it's up to you. It's up to you what you want to do in our world.
Okay, we know the best pirate crews work on hierarchy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
There's always the captain. How are you working that into the game?
Well, again, it's up to the players, and up to the players how they want to run their ship, right? What we know that a player expectation is that they want to own a ship, right? But they should be able to invite other players on there. And when you're out in the world, the great thing about it is that anyone could be on the wheel, anybody could be on cannons, anybody could be on the sails, adjusting those. And when you're in the midst of kind of battle and you're taking on leaks and everything else, it's chaos, right? People are running around everywhere. You have everybody kind of downstairs preparing, and then someone's like, hold on, who's steering, right? And then you're like, oh no, and someone has to run upstairs. So it's just these kind of rich, emergent experiences just happen in our game all the time. And it's, hierarchy is kind of what you want it to be, I guess.
Fantastic. Now, it's Rare's first new IP in years, right?
Yep.
Has this been something that's been in your minds for a while, and how long have you been working on it?
Yeah, so we've been working on it for give or take 18 months. Greg Males, who's the design director and a 27-year Rare veteran, right? He and I went away together and kind of we had a blank slate, and a blank slate is kind of the hardest thing in the world, right? Because you can basically do anything. And so to come up with the kind of vision behind the game of like groups of players going on adventures together in a cooperative way, but also in a world where there's kind of competition, like that's what landed us at Pirates. And also, to be fair, Greg has always wanted to make a pirate game, and you can see through Rare's history, there's all these references to it. And so, it was just the right game at the right time, and we're super excited to be making it.
Fantastic. Well, I think it really shows through, right?
Yeah,
and I can't wait to walk the plank with you later.
Yeah,
Joe,
indeed.
thank you very much, mate.
Thank you, man.
Thank you to Joe. Sea of Thieves will be available exclusively on Xbox One and Windows 10 as well. Now let's send things over to Bravo and Larry on the show floor.
Cool.
Today's show is sponsored by Overwatch. Now, Bravo, you've been playing the game, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm pretty sure everyone's playing.
Now, who are you playing as?
So I started off lately a little bit of Hanzo, a little bit of Lucio, but I've actually found myself in the past week playing a little bit of Soldier 76.
Now, why is that?
I discovered him a bit late, right? I tried to rifle through everyone, and he's kind of your archetype FPS hero, right? Sprinting in and laying down fire, and I'm finding some success with that. It's kind of my bread and butter.
I started with Bastion, but then I realized that was too OP.
Yep.
So now
Play the game.
Yeah, I'm kind of going with Reinhardt because I can throw up the shield and we can kind of go in there. So you as your Soldier 76 should be behind me, and I'll just keep that shield
Looks
up.
good.
It's pretty cool.
Perfect.
So anyway, that's what we're playing now. But what will we be playing next year?
That's right. Earlier, Julia caught up with the new game from one of the masterminds behind Castlevania. Here's the latest on Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night.
Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night is a spiritual sequel to the Castlevania series from famed producer Koji Igarashi and has raised over $5 million on Kickstarter last year. Joining me now to take us through the game is Koji and Airplay community manager Mana Ikeda. So, of course, Kickstarter, you worked very closely with the community. How did they influence the game?
First of all, we started off as a Kickstarter project, and the community were very passionate. We also have an official Bloodstained fan community forum.
Yeah.
And through the forum, the community posts a lot of topics regarding the Bloodstained and what they want to see in it. And I read them all in English, and then I translated the feedback back to Iga in Japanese. So he takes that in consideration, and we also get a feedback for which shader the community wants to see. We give them a poll, like, do you like shader 1 or shader 3? And then they decide, they choose, and we gather those results and incorporate it into the game.
Okay. So, Iga, were you sort of surprised and humbled by the response that you got when you put your game on Kickstarter?
でキックスターターでそのコミュニティからのその反応となんて言ったらいいんでしょう、光栄とかなんかどういう気持ちで思ったんですか？
反応ですね。キックスターターで、結局すごい大きなお金を集めることができたんですけれども、それは本当に光栄なことで、最初そんなに集まると思ってなかったので、それが皆さんに支援されて励まされて、で結果大成功に終わったというのが非常になんていうか感動もしましたし、本当に光栄だったと思います。
So at first, hearing the community and doing the Kickstarter, he wasn't expecting that much, money, and he was really surprised how successful it was, and he was like very, very happy about it.
So we're actually going to be looking here. I think this is the first ever live gameplay that we've actually seen. So this is very exciting. So Iga, could you tell us a little bit about what we're seeing?
今のこの状況をちょっと軽く説明をしてもらってもいいですか。はい、ゲームを。
このゲームは2D、画面は 3D で作られてるんですけれども、遊びは 2D の横スクロールの探索をしていくアクションゲームです。
So basically, it's made in 3D, but we wanted to recreate that 2D side scroller effect. So it's an exploration-based side scroller.
So it's kind of like 2.5D.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And what can we expect to see in a classic Iga style throughout the game?
伝統的な五十嵐さんの五十嵐風のどういう風な。
その通りです。で、今回主人公がミディアムという女性なんですけれども、彼女は錬金術師たちに体を改造されて、結晶を埋め込まれてしまうんですね。
So basically, the main character is Miriam, and 錬金術で。So she was cursed with an alchemy, and なんて言ったらいいですか。
結晶を埋め込まれて、で体を改造されてるんですよ。なんていうの。
So she was cursed, and her body is embedded with crystals.
これを見るのか。
And this is where she takes in the shard.
でこれを体を改造されたことによって、この敵の魔力の結晶であるシャードを体に取り込んで使うことができるようになってます。
So because she's cursed, and she's able to control a demon's power. So once you beat an enemy, or once you beat a demon, she could get their skill and use it as her own will, in her own will.
Okay.
その力を使って、敵を倒すのも当然なんですけれども、マップの仕掛けを起動させたり、壊したりして、エリアを自分の探索できるエリアをどんどん進めていく、広げて進めていくゲームになります。
So the way it works is that she's able to get the skills, and by using the skills, she could go to places that were unreachable before. So the way the classic Igavania works is that you need to obtain a skill and then reach to like a place where you couldn't go before.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it just looks absolutely fantastic, and I'm sure everybody is really, really excited to see the live gameplay that's out there. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing with us some of the live gameplay. And why don't we go down and check out, see what Graham's doing on the floor?
Thank you, Julia. I'm here on the show floor with Recore's robotic canine companion, Mac. Who's a good dog? Or robot? Or robo-dog? Well, I guess I don't have the touch anymore. And maybe Larry and Jessica will learn more when they take a deeper dive into the world of Recore.
Now, last year, Recore wowed everyone with its sand-swept visuals and staggering gaming pedigree, but this year we finally saw the gameplay in action.
Now we're joined by Joe Staten, Senior Creative Director at Xbox, to tell us more about the mysterious world of Recore. Joe, good to see you.
Larry, Jessica.
Thanks for joining us. So the game looks absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
What was the overall vision for the project?
So Recore is the creation of Keiji Inafune from Mega Man fame and the guys that were responsible for Metroid Prime. So imagine taking a great Metroid game and a great Mega Man game, mix them together on a modern console, a new engine, and you get Recore, a great action platformer.
Awesome. Now, one of your, you've been working on great stories over the many years. Can you tell us a little bit about the story in Recore?
Absolutely. So the main character of Recore is Jewel Adams. Jewel is on a planet called Far Eden, which is many light years away from Earth. Humanity's gone there to try to terraform it and make a new home for mankind.
But they gave up?
You know, it was too hard, and they just decided no. Something very bad has happened to Earth, Larry, as it often does. We can't talk about that because it's a spoiler.
Sure.
But imagine that we're trying to make a new home for mankind. Now, Jewel's not alone. She has some Chobot companions, what we call the robots in the game. And while Jewel and the other human beings slept, the robots were supposed to, build the terraforming machines and get Far Eden ready for people. When Jewel wakes up, she finds out that nothing has gone the way she planned. The planet is still a desert world.
What have the robots been doing, Joe?
Well, other than just hanging out, they've gone crazy, Larry. They've gone insane. They've gone rogue. And so Jewel's first job is to try to figure out what's gone wrong with Chobot and then to fix Far Eden and make a new paradise for us.
So, I know you talked a little bit about Jewel just now, but she's a total badass. Can you get a little bit more in depth with her character specifically?
Absolutely. So, when we started working on the game, we really didn't know who the main character was going to be. We worked a lot on the world and the Chobots. We knew we needed a hero that was strong and resourceful and agile, that could move around the world easily, but also someone who could bring together these rangy, sort of wacky Chobots into a cohesive fighting unit. And as we developed different options for the character, Jewel just stood out as a really great-looking character, very strong, memorable, and those are her qualities. You can see in the gameplay she needs to be fast and tough. There's no cover in the game. You don't hide behind a crate. You're not putting bullets on a pixel. You're very agile. You're moving away from enemy shots, dodging around the world. So really, that's her personality: quick, smart, resourceful.
Very nice.
Joe, tell us about the dynamic between Jewel and the Chobots. How's that going to work?
Well, there are two ways to look at it. One, the Chobots are Jewel's friends, her companions in the world. It's a story-driven game, so there's a great deep story for how she meets the individual Chobots, how they come together as a little group, a little family, but they're also her tools. You can see Mac right here. Mac has got the special ability, the dog, to dig up hidden objects in the world. And every Chobot has a special exploration ability, and they also have combat abilities too. So they're your friends out of combat in the story, but they're also your weapons in combat. You can see here, I think it's Mac who's smashing in to one of the enemies there with his lethal dash attack.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And so can you talk more a little bit about the combat and platform elements of the game?
Sure, absolutely. So like I said, if you think about Mega Man, you think about Metroid, this is a mix of shooting, third-person action, as well as platforming. So there'll be places that's just combat in the world, some places that are just platforming, but often a mix of the two as you explore Far Eden. We wanted the game to feel classic, like you would pick it up and think, oh, I played this game before. It feels like Mega Man, it feels like Metroid. But we wanted to modernize it, make it much faster, slicker, and also give it some deeper systems too. There are crafting mechanics, progression systems, you upgrade your Chobots, and some of Jewel's tools over time. So it's a much more modern and sophisticated game.
You have some customization options.
And it's hard. Larry, have you played it yet?
I have not played it.
Okay.
It's right, we've been staring at it. It's right behind our stage.
Well, we debated.
And drooling.
Yeah, should we bring an easy demo to E3 or a challenging one? And we brought a hard one.
I don't need God mode.
No, so it's tough. It's really easy to get into. It's accessible, looks colorful and charming. But once you start playing it, you realize, oh man, like it's got some bite to it, just like all those great old games did.
How did you get involved with the project?
So I have the good fortune of being on the Microsoft publishing team, which means I get to work on lots of different projects. When Inafune-san and the Armature guys came to us, they needed some assistance with writing the game, and I was free, and don't tell my boss, I'm supposed to be doing other things, but they let me help write this game, which has been a real joy.
That sounds great. Joe Staten, great to see you. Always good to see you. Anyway, thank you so much. Recore comes out September 13th exclusively on Xbox One and Windows 10.
And now let's send things over to Julia and Graham on the show floor.
If you missed yesterday's E3 exclusive Gears of War 4 Avatar giveaway, don't worry, you can still watch video on demand of our Day 1 E3 coverage on your Xbox One and get in on the action.
That is right. You can get a shiny new wardrobe edition for your avatar just by basking in the glory that is E3.
And us, obviously.
Yeah,
and now, sadly, I have to say, I'm kind of a little bit upset because Xbox Daily, live from E3, It's out of time. We're at the end of the show,
It
Greg,
is
right?
indeed. Can I just take a second to congratulate Larry on his jacket?
He should be
Reminds me
congratulated.
of the announcer from Smash TV, or if you're from Britain, you might realise that he'll get a job at Butlins very soon. Now, it's been a great couple of days, and we want to thank you all very much for watching.
But it doesn't end here, because the official Xbox channel on Twitch will be streaming in-depth game demos throughout E3. So make sure you head over to twitch.tv/Xbox.
Yeah, I'll be on there with Benny and Ellen tomorrow morning, but don't let that put you off. It will be fine. We've got so many amazing games coming out over the next few months, games that will take us to the dystopian future, the swashbuckling past,
Yar.
and a zombie-filled present.
Plus, also dragons. I can't do a dragon noise. Gears, custom controllers, new consoles, and much, much more.
And we're delighted that we've got to share all of them with you over the past 2 days, so thank you.
Yes, so from all of us here at Xbox Daily Live, thank you, and we'll see you next year at E3 2017. And I don't want to go on a downer, so let's go down with a song from the Skull Nuggets.
Everybody
let's
come
shanty!
in!
Let's shanty away! Wait, this is getting very confusing with the cable.
Oh no! You just touched me booty!
Oh my god.
Don't worry, loves. Cavalry's here.
Overwatch. Play it now on PC and console. Rated T for teen.